Well, my dear, that was a delectable appetizer. But now I'm really craving the main course. Override. Pause, record, playback. Apologies for the intrusion, visitor. But you and I need to have a word. Now, come with me. I see my earlier statement needs clarification. It was not a request. Now, if you will kindly follow me, we'll use this room over here. You see a wall? Please wait a moment. Disable projection, F2, W1, S13. No wall anymore. Do not tell anyone about that. Understood? Enable projection. We can speak in this room here. Go ahead and have a seat. Very good. Now that I have your attention, let me start with this. You are not in trouble. Don't be concerned about being expelled from the archive. You have not violated any pre-established guidelines. That being said, you and about 300 other visitors have come into contact with an unusual object. This record here. Coffee with friend. Huh. You are familiar with it. It should be no surprise. I am the curator of this archive. As a result, I have numerous systems in place to allow me and the assistance robots here to perform their duties while also watching out for potential violators of our rules. Returning to the topic at hand, this record. Are you aware that there was something else attached to it? If not, then I'd suggest skimming through it again, but you can do that at another time. The record itself, for your information, was not created by the archive's normal procedures. It came from another source, a source that is outside of the archive itself. No, visitor. The archive's records are gathered from specific known points of origin. Even if the scenario itself was procured from a different place, it is still in an expected manner. This record was not from these previously set methods. Going from what I have gathered, I suspect that the entity who created the record is also the person you interacted with in the scenario contained within. He is the person that I wish to speak to you about. He is a person of great importance to the archive. That is, if he is who I suspect. I apologize, but there is only so much information I have deemed reasonable to reveal to you at this time. There is much about this place that you have no need of knowing. Now, I have a request to ask of you. Visitor, I do not have the capacity to play games. If it wasn't clear before, this matter is of grave importance to the Gray Archive as a whole. Hold on. I request you repeat that one more time. Project. So, you are familiar with the attached information in the record. That was the original name of the initiative this facility was constructed for. This place, the Gray Archive, is built from what remains of the original institution. The Gray Matter Archival Project, an experiment based on a theory proposed by a man that has long since parted from this world. However, that theory inspired many a researcher and investor, and from that collaborative effort, this facility was born. Perhaps, if you are at least aware of the origin of this place, you may be receptive to the finer details of its creation and dissolution. But let us save that for another time. You have a request. Is that the price for your assistance with this task? If that is the case, you may ask it. You want to know why this individual is so important. Very well. The person who spoke to you in the record. There is strong evidence that he is a person previously referred to in the project's time as the candidate. In all past research, he was one of a kind due to a high compatibility with certain aspects deeply integrated with specific systems in this place. In fact, if it weren't for his participation, none of what you have experienced up to this point would be possible. I may be the curator, but I would go so far to say that he is the creator, the foundation that the Gray Archive in its current form is built upon. So, you can see why it is so important that he is retrieved. Correction. In this case, it would be better if I am more specific. His mind must be recovered. As I stated before, the finer details we can discuss at a later time. Just know at this point, it is imperative to obtain his consciousness before much more time has passed. My request? Very well. The next time that you happen to encounter this individual, the candidate, I need you to verify it is in fact him you are interacting with, and not some kind of facsimile. It is imperative that the candidate's sentient consciousness is confirmed, as that will determine what we do from there. We must verify that what generated these records is not some remnant of an already faded mind. How can you do that? I believe that you should be capable of determining sentience by performing various actions that do not correspond with the predetermined scenario that will be produced. That will depend on you, visitor. In some ways, you could say it's equivalent to an actor going off script. You look like you have something to say. Please, feel free to speak. In the record, he said he forgot his name. That is not a positive discovery. At all, actually. One's name can be considered core to their person, so for him to have forgotten is grave news. All the more reason to accelerate the timeline, but that hedges on your task. Why can't I do it? Perhaps it is better if I show you. Disable projection S1. As you can tell, I'm not human. As a matter of fact, what you're perceiving in front of you is merely what your mind is receiving from the various neurodigital sensory projections within this space. If someone were to walk in right now, they would be able to see you, but it would not be the same for me. They wouldn't be able to see, feel, taste, or even smell the projection in front of you. However, try to touch my arm. Feels like there's something there, correct? What you see in front of you is a fabrication, derived from various sources to create An avatar for myself to interact with you and the other visitors. That is what CoGA, what I am. I am a neurodigital artificial intelligence, Neuro AI for short, produced as part of the research conducted during the project's brief time active. As a result of my creation, while I am capable of analyzing the various records stored here, I am unable to experience them. I believe that is the most appropriate term for what you and the other visitors have when playing back the stories here. I cannot interact with the anomalies as they are created. That is something only visitors to this archive can do. So, I have no other option but to entrust this task to you. I implore you to see it through. Enable projection. That was all I needed to discuss with you. It is best to return to the common area at this point. Now, if you will follow me. Feel free to walk through the projection. I've given you access to bypass this particular area. It shall serve as our designated meeting space. Should you need to contact me, you can do so through the regular means. One last question. What if the candidate does not show lucidity? Should you find no form of sentience, then it will be concluded that the candidate's mind is lost, and I shall have to determine what the next steps are from there, for this place, and for myself. Is there anything else? Why you? Because I believe. Yes, that would be the proper term. I believe that you can be trusted with this information without compromising the archive's privacy and confidentiality when it comes to its background. I have strong reason to suspect that there are still entities that have other intentions for this place, ones that would compromise its current purpose. To be a place where stories are created for visitors like yourself to enjoy. The next time we meet, I'll share more about the history of this place, and how it ended up in its current state. As a show of good faith, I've deemed this to be the most appropriate approach. Now, I shall leave you be. May you enjoy the rest of your stay, visitor. We'll be in touch soon.